Right.
to
Tort
understand what's
law.
going on. A lot of people, definitely our people,
Hmm.
um, native blacks, we got wiped out as far as our land when it comes to eminent domain with the interstate system.
Hmm.
And they really that's because we didn't know the law and what they can do because of eminent domain, and certain things wouldn't have happened had we known that. So it's very important. And you know.
And tort law really means territory. It's the law of territory.
Hmm.
And the Phoenicians and the Tartars who sailed the ocean became their land. And any land that touched the ocean, which is all the lands on this planet, it gave them the right to have maritime law. And maritime law would extend all the way 50% inward. Why? Because commerce had to go off the boat and 50% in towards the land. It didn't impact the farmers because the farmers were self-contained. And anytime towns grew up, or villages, or hamlets, or even cities around farming industry, because it became an industry later, those people did not have to interact that much with tort law. They had sovereign law. So it is what I'm teaching you is that everything here is in a circle. It's a 360-degree circle. Okay. The syllabus that I passed out, I want y'all to keep it because it's part of a class process that I'm doing now with a group of women. Um, and it's imperative that we understand where we came from in the beginning. We didn't look like this. We didn't have physical form. We would be talking about bifurcating, which means to divide. When it divided, when consciousness began to become, when awareness really gained consciousness, it was lonely. All it could do was dream. That's why you hear the Australians and a lot of people from Africa, Haiti, even the indigenous people of America, which they were brown skinned, melanated people, they will always talk about the dream time. And that is where consciousness became so aware, or awareness became so conscious, it began to have lust or desire. That desire was to experience. X means to go outside of, because it already knew what it was like internally. So it decided it needed to bifurcate. And bifurcating means to divide. And what it did was that it divided along not genders, but frequencies. There's a feminine frequency called yang, Ying, and the masculine called yang, Yang. Okay. Masculine energy tends to be very analytical, separative, um, highly logical. It removes emotion. Okay. When you are emoting, you are taking all of your vibratory energy and you're placing it on someone else so they can feel what you feel.
Mm.
That's the feminine aspect. The masculine aspect says, you can't expect me to feel that if you want me to build the house. I can't be emotional about building the house because if I hurt myself, I won't build the house. Okay. So I have to be very practical, very logical, very separative, very segregative. I must remove all of the emotion so that I can build the house, make the bridge, create cities. So what has happened is that over time, with changing how we use words, they have you thinking it's a male female situation. What it is that when they bifurcated, the masculine energy felt fear and alone. And the way he could express that, because he didn't emote the masculine energy, was to become very controlling, very dominating, very narcissistic. Okay. Only to control the fact that if any aspect of his emotions went out there, he would never be able to accomplish. Masculine energy could never accomplish what we wanted. Feminine energy when we bifurcated, took it in traumatically. Oh, how can I live without the other half of me? And so we became trauma based, which makes us emotional. Your role through etymology, through understanding frequency vibration, is to come back to the whole. The whole doesn't mean you're going to go back up there in heaven and be with Jesus and God and Abraham and all of these wonderful versions or aspects of the divine source. What it's telling you is that you will have a joined consciousness. And when you join your consciousness with the masculine side of you as a woman, as well as the feminine side of you, you have the ability to remove doubt. You have the ability to remove anxiety and hate. And all you can work from is a place of love, respect, duty, um, gracefulness, graciousness. Okay. With men, when you have the ability to have a unified consciousness, you learn how to take emotions and use them in a logical, practical way without being segregative, without being hurtful or dominating. But when it calls for you to be that, you can. Just like when it calls for us to throw our life on the line to protect the the weak, we do. And so our role, your twin flame, is the ability to go back to a joined consciousness. We will never share the same vibratory frequency um, in a non-form because we're going to be in form. We created this form, and why we created it, we'll talk about it as we go through the syllabus. And let me put a side note. If we're doing 2 podcasts a month, the first podcast will be talking about what's on the syllabus. The second podcast, if you have any questions or you want an answer to something, write it down, and then in the second podcast, we can begin to have an open forum discussion, which will allow us to explore and move through the process. Okay.
Yeah,
Because my job is to help you do what's necessary for you.
yeah. So you guys in the chat, you guys heard. If you're going to participate with what we're trying to do, you can just put your question up, and I actually can. I remember the question. I actually be able to save the question, and then, like she said, she's just explaining the syllabus right now. So the next time we get together will be the day that we go over the syllabus, and then the following Tuesday after that, the fourth Tuesday after that, we will answer questions and have a discussion on what the syllabus entails, and be able to really get in depth of it before she starts explaining it in its totality.